Turn two. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending and viewing the December 14th special meeting of the Arcata City Council. This special meeting is being held as a hybrid meeting with both in-person attendance and teleconference access via Zoom. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Matthews.
Here.
Councilmember Atkins Salazar.
Here.
Councilmember White.
Here.
Councilmember Stillman is absent, but we do have a quorum.
All right. So our next item on the agenda tonight is going to be public comment. Because this is a special meeting, we will take public comment at the beginning for items that are on the agenda. So this special meeting of the City Council is to consider appointment of a new mayor and vice mayor and to consider our 2024 city liaison assignments. Again, public comment is limited to items that are on the agenda, so if you do have a comment to make regarding the rotation of mayor or vice mayor and or the liaison assignments, we will take those comments now. So if you are here in person, please line up behind the podium. If you are logged onto Zoom, click raise your hand, and if you are on the phone, you can press star 9 to raise your hand, and you will be prompted to dial star 6. So is anybody here to make public comment? All right, anybody online?
We have no online public comment.
All right, well then that will take us to our business item, which is item A, to elect a mayor and vice mayor pursuant to the Arcata Municipal Code Section 2020. So the city has adopted a rotational process to open the possibility of each council member being able to serve as mayor during their term. And so based on our rotation, I am pleased to nominate our current vice mayor, Meredith Matthews, as the next mayor of Arcata. So are there any further comments about that or a second or anything else?
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion from myself, which the mayor doesn't usually get to do, so I appreciate that, because that is like the best motion to make of all time. And then we had a second from Councilmember White. So is there any further comment or discussion before we move to a vote?
I just want to thank you, Mayor Schaefer, or outgoing Mayor Schaefer, for your leadership for this year, and it's been really nice to, have you steering the ship here. So thank you very much for all that you did this year.
And thank you guys for the opportunity to be able to do it. And I wasn't actually supposed to be mayor during my term, even though the rotation says that it gives us all a chance. But I wouldn't have been mayor if it wasn't for a series of wonderful and unfortunate and interesting events. And so I just want to thank the community and thank my fellow council members just for all the support, and city staff, of course, too, just for all of the support and everything that goes into making the role of mayor go mostly smoothly. So thank you guys for that. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. And I'm going to get to bang the gavel one more time because you can do that after a motion, right? That feels right. And so with that, we're going to switch seats and you can do the rest of the meeting.
This feels nice.
I like it over here.
All right, so before I open up the nominations for vice mayor, I would like to recognize our outgoing mayor, Sarah Schaefer, for the incredible energy that she has put into us as a council over the past year and into the community. You cannot be out around town and not run into Mayor Schaefer. She has shown up for countless volunteer efforts, ribbon cuttings, and local events. I have sat side by side with her at some incredibly difficult meetings and conversations, and her empathy, resolve, and composure are something that I admire greatly. I have watched her show a fierce commitment to building housing, a determination to improve our pedestrian and bicycle routes, and strength to show up for the most vulnerable in our community. We have been through some trying times as a council, and Sarah has handled herself with confidence, determination, and grace. She challenges my ideas and provides fresh perspectives. She is a role model to me on how to run a meeting, open to everyone, and one that keeps moving. And I will give my best to continue in her tradition, even though I can't match her strong teacher. Well, I might be able to match her strong teacher. I can project too. But I will always use the quiet coyote. So thank you, Sarah. Anybody? I think that Stacey. All right, so now I move to nominate Councilmember Alex Stillman as our next vice mayor. I'm anticlimactic that she's not here, but it's the rotation.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion from me, probably the first and last time I'll make a motion as a mayor, and a second from Councilmember Atkins Salazar. Is there any discussion to the motion before we vote? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We love the gavel.
All right, so now we'll move on to item B, consider council member assignments to regional boards, committees, and commissions, and as liaisons for 2024. So annually, the city council reviews the lists of regional boards, commissions, and committees and liaison appointments to determine if the council wishes to continue sending the same representatives. Each of us has provided the staff with indicators of our priorities and availability to serve on the many boards that we represent. Our combined list is printed here for us on the dais. There are extra copies also available in the back for anybody that wants to follow along as we go. So we will do our best to appoint a primary and an alternate to each board, but understand that we all have very busy schedules. So I'm going to ask the city manager to assist us with starting the formal process of the JPA boards.
Great, thank you, Mayor Matthews.
The alliteration
So
is nice.
the first item on Mayor Matthews is starting with what I would kind of consider our five top JPAs, which are Humboldt County Association of Governments, often referred to as HCOG, the Humboldt Transit Authority, Humboldt Waste Management Authority, Redwood Coast Energy Authority, and the Redwood Region Economic Development Commission. So right now, those are divided one equally between each of the council members. It appears based on your liaison preferences is that all of you would like to continue in those assignments. So, I mean, I think that's kind of an easy, everybody gets their first choice for those top five, which would put Councilmember Atkins Salazar continuing at HCOG. It would put Councilmember Vice Mayor Stillman at HTA at the Humboldt Transit Authority. Mayor Matthews would continue with Humboldt Waste Management Authority. Councilmember Schaefer will continue with Redwood Coast Energy Authority, and Councilmember White with REDEC, or Redwood Region Economic Development Commission. We do need to probably reconsider alternates for each of those, but if that seems agreeable, we could move on to alternates for those five.
Yeah, I actually have a preference to be an alternate at RCEA. You know, I feel like it would be an easy ramp up for me, and I have a lot of background knowledge with them, so if nobody objects, I'd love to be the RCEA alternate. Time works for me as well.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So some of you have listed, so the A's after Councilmember White's, she has a 2A and a 3A. The 2A was for HCOG, and that meant, you know, kind of second preference, but as alternate only, and also interested in RCEA. And then there are a few that people cannot make. So maybe if we just start from the top of the list, starting with HCOG. We've got Councilmember Atkins Salazar as our primary. We have both Meredith, Mayor Matthews, and Councilmember White as a potential alternate, although it looks like Councilmember Stillman and Schaefer could also make that time frame. So who do we want for alternate for HCOG?
You're welcome to it if the time works for you. And I think that for ease, you can just call us by our first names for the rest of this process.
I will a few times anyway. I think we know that. All right, so we're going to put Kimberly for alternate for HCOG. Does that work? Okay. So then our primary will be Alex for HTA. So let's see. Kimberly and Sarah cannot make that. So I need an alternate between Stacy or Meredith.
I'm happy to do that, Stacy. I know that you've got a busy year coming up, so.
Okay, I'm assuming we'll all need to be one alternate, but I'm fine with alternating on any of them.
Yeah, whatever time works best for you, I'm good, but I was on the HDA board for
So I can't
meeting or
do,
two.
oh wait, it's the fourth Thursday. Yeah, I think I can do any of the other ones. So if
Okay.
anybody has preferences, go for it.
All right, so then we've got primary. We've got Meredith primary for HWMA. We need an alternate for that. Stacy listed that as 5. Nobody else listed either an X or anything in that one.
I don't really miss meetings, so,
That's fine. I'll do Humboldt Waste Management.
okay, it's interesting. Hey, Karen, who did we choose for the HTA alternate?
HTA alternate is you.
Okay, perfect.
Going once, twice.
Okay.
And I think Alex is pretty flexible. She did indicate also, so if there's something else that we need to plug her into, she will be fine with that. All right, so then we have primary for RCEA as Sarah and alternate as Meredith. We've got primary for REDEC as Kimberly and alternate, we need an alternate for REDEC.
Maybe we can
I'm
make-
happy to be the
Okay.
alternate, yeah, for REDEC, because that's a time that works well for me.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so then moving forward, we've got kind of these three at the bottom, the Humboldt Bay Water District Water Task Force, our Humboldt Del Norte Hazardous Materials, and then the League of California Cities. The League of California Cities had some interest. Mayor Matthews and Councilmember Atkins Salazar both interested in the league. We need a primary and an alternate for that.
If Meredith can be the lead and I'll be the alternate, if that works for everyone
That
else.
works for me.
Okay, you will be going to most of the meetings anyway, as, yeah, second incoming president on that, so, okay. All right.
And I know, I think Alex is currently on the hazardous materials, because I think I plugged her into that, and I know the time works for her, so.
I feel like I think that Alex and I switched.
Oh, okay.
And so I was on that, but I think we met once this year. So if somebody else would like to,
That does not work for Stacy and Kimberly, so shall we assign primary to Alex? Okay. All right, any other alternate, any alternate for, I guess it would be Sarah, you're going to be alternate, or,
Yeah, I could be alternate on that, the time. I feel like this isn't the time, though, because I feel like I had signed up for it because I thought the time worked, and then I think I switched it to somebody else because that's not when it was meeting. But potentially, I could be the alternate if that's the actual time. I don't know. I don't, yeah.
we'll double check. All right, and then we have the Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District Task Force. This was not called at all last year, so this is pretty light duty. We have Stacy and Meredith that have indicated at least an interest in it. If there's anybody else that has any interest in this one.
you know, I remember some questions coming out that had to do with this back when we were running and people were asking us some questions. So I'm fine to be on it, whether they call a meeting or not. I'm still interested.
Okay, do you want to be primary or alternate, Stacy?
I'll be alternate, and with the amount of meetings that have been called, there's a pretty good chance I will not have any duties.
Okay. All right. Moving down to our other liaison assignments. So these are mostly positions with the exception, we can talk a little bit about Equity Arcata. Some of these you don't have a voting seat, but you are in liaison to. So you have the Arcata Chamber, Arcata House Partnership, Kamawapa Sister City, Equity Arcata, which is actually a board of directors now, the Homeless and Housing Working Group, and then our city liaison, which at this point the council has dedicated to the mayor and the vice mayor, so that just rotates with those positions. There does seem to be a lot of interest in Arcata House Partnership. Is one that you may want to have a quick discussion about. If not, you know, kind of moving forward to the chamber. One thing I guess I would like to note on the chamber is that because Mayor Matthews does serve as the executive director, we will need a primary. It's okay to also assign an alternate. We just wouldn't want both the primary and the alternate to be attending those meetings at the same time.
And please note that the time for that meeting has not been set yet. We're going to set the time for the meetings on January 21st, so sign up at your own
Those
risk.
meeting times could be changing.
And I hope they are. 8 a.m. is early.
I had a question. I mismarked. I had hoped to do it last time, and it never did come to fruition. So I was wanting to put that as a 1.
For the chamber?
Yes.
What concerns me is that we work so closely with your other job and my other job that that there might be like some issues that
Yeah.
nobody could ever
You
help
can
us.
work, we've already talked about that internally. Lauda Moonwest will be working with you on the Kona side, since we're all co-coordinators.
All right, do we want to come to that one at the end, or do we want to hash out? Councilmember Atkins Salazar has also indicated the chamber as a top priority. Maybe we start with Arcata House. There's three of you, two of you now that have that as first. And then,
If somebody else wants, I'm happy to let somebody else take that.
all right, so between Alex and Kimberly, maybe for primary with Arcata House Partnership. Do you have a preference, Kimberly?
Probably an alternate.
Okay. So Alex would be primary for Arcata House Partnership. And,
I didn't realize, but on the third Monday, I do have a conflict. I have 3 meetings, boom, boom, boom.
okay,
I know they meet quarterly, but they've changed it. I'm not sure when they meet.
do you not want to be alternate? Do you want to see if there's somebody else willing to be alternate?
And I just want to say
Sure.
that chamber meetings have been historically on Mondays, so you can take that into consideration as well.
In the night, or you should.
In the morning.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just evening.
All right, so Meredith, did you want to be alternate for Arcata House Partnership?
That sounds great. I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
So who's the primary for Arcata House Partner? Okay.
Alex.
Alex.
All right, so Sarah had listed first the Equity Arcata. Equity Arcata is a board, has turned into a board of directors over the course of this last year. If there is an actual vote, the city council, we would only have one vote. It'd be fine for the alternate to attend, to listen in, but just making that clarification around that board. Sarah has listed that first, Stacy has listed that as second. Kimberly and Meredith all have interest, so I don't know if.
Yeah, I definitely want to keep that, as it has been something I've put a lot of work in recently, and learning and getting to know all the new board members, and so I would like to keep my position there.
And I would like to be the alternate, especially if one of the goals this year is to work on the Arcata Chinatown project, and that's something I brought to them, so I'd like to be able to work on that when it comes up.
Yeah, and I support that too, because Stacy has been attending the meetings as an alternate and has been attending our events as well. And so she's got a chance to meet the new board members and be part of that group. So I think the two of us are a good little team on that one.
Okay. Does that work for everyone? Seeing nods, yes. Okay. All right, so moving to the Homelessness and Housing Working Group.
I
That
would
is-
like to be primary for that. I haven't done anything like that for a while.
Okay, that's currently Alex and Kimberly, and usually they both come, so it is one that both can certainly attend. Is that something you'd like to continue, Kimberly?
If there's no objection, it works in my schedule.
All right, Sister City.
Karen, can you tell us what we have left? Because I know who has their primaries and what's available.
Okay, so the only ones that we have left are the Arcata Chamber of Commerce, Sister City. Alex did request FOAM. FOAM is a group that we used to have an official liaison for, and then we didn't for a while. We could add FOAM back to the list. We cannot. She'll continue to attend, but if somebody had an interest in being alternate to FOAM, if we wanted to more formally put it back on the list, we could. So that would be the only other one that we might want to consider. Is there anybody else interested in FOAM?
When is it?
The FOAM board right now meets, they meet the second Thursday of the month at 6:30 PM. Nope, okay. All right, we'll just leave that as is. So all we have left is the Chamber and Sister City. And right now we have a primary on these other ones. We've got Alex's primary for Arcata House. We have Equity Arcata primary as Sarah, the Homeless and Housing Working Group primary as Meredith.
I'm happy to keep being the primary on the Sister City Committee. However, I am not the best at attending their meetings because they sneak up on me and it's late. And it's kind of a hard day for me to attend. So if there is somebody that maybe has an easier time attending, but I try to go when I can, and I do really enjoy the group and talking to them and stuff. So I'm happy to keep it if somebody else doesn't want it.
Yeah, it's an HWMA conflict for me, so I can't.
Well, Kimberly and I each need a primary, and there's two, I mean, it's not set in stone, but there's two left. But I have the the Kamawapa meetings X'd out because I have a conflict. So with the two that are left, the only one I can attend is Arcata Chamber of Commerce, unless we want to do some rotating around of other seats.
So also with the Campo, it's the same second Thursday as foam, just a half hour apart, which I cannot attend. And at this point, the only thing I have is REDAC, and a alternate for the homeless housing working group.
Well, that's not
It's
an
not really an
alternate.
alternate for
it's
that.
Both
That
of you
would be
are on
a-
that, right? Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a shot at the chamber just because I wanted it all last year and never did get to come to fruition.
I will say, I think that we put the chamber on just to keep it on, just in case, someday I'm not in that position. I mean, I don't really know that we need a liaison right now, and I will let whoever the liaison know that if you do, I don't know if this is appropriate to talk about, but if you do, we're an active board. You'll really be expected to, I want you to come into this position knowing that there's going to be a lot of volunteering at all the many events that we do. So,
Yeah, I even showed up at 7 in the morning for the breakfast, but nobody was there.
All right, well, Kimberly, it seems like you want that one quite a bit, so I'm fine to give that to you and be the alternate if everybody is okay with me not having an assignment. And somebody does need to take over the sister city because I cannot.
Yeah, and I'm happy to keep doing Sister City. You can put me as the person, and I have, I'm gonna,
Do you want to be alternate, Sarah? Do you want us to put Alex as primary?
well, Alex will be going to foam, and so that's at the same time, pretty much. It's about a half an hour apart.
do you guys meet on Zoom or do you meet in person?
It has mostly been on Zoom, but there has been some in-person meetings recently.
I mean, the HWMA meetings really are, I'm going to curse myself for saying they're really only a half an hour. So if I'm an alternate, that should be fine. If I
All right,
can,
so do you want to be listed as alternate, and then the two of you can
That's fine,
coordinate
yeah.
to try to make a few meetings each year?
I like that I Street Block Party.
That's great, yeah. And so what or wait, no, you can't go, never mind, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay.
All right, any other discussion around any of these assignments? I can read them off if you'd like.
City Clerk, do you have everybody? Do you need just to confirm anything? Excellent.
All right, so we're going to casually do these by first names. So we have Humboldt County Association of Governments will be primary Stacy, alternate Kimberly. Humboldt Transit Authority, primary Alex, alternate Meredith. Humboldt Waste Management Authority, primary Meredith, alternate Stacy. Redwood Coast Energy Authority, primary Sarah, alternate Meredith. Redwood Region Economic Development Commission, primary Kimberly, alternate Sarah. Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District Task Force, primary is going to be Meredith, alternate Stacy. Humboldt Del Norte Hazardous Materials Response JPA, primary Alex, alternate Sarah. League of California Cities, Redwood Empire Division, primary Meredith, alternate Stacy. Arcata Chamber of Commerce, primary Kimberly, alternate Stacy. Humboldt Arcata House Partnership, primary Alex, alternate Meredith. Arcata Kamawapa Sister City Committee, primary Sarah, alternate Meredith. Our Equity Arcata Board of Directors, primary Sarah, alternate Stacy. Homelessness and Housing Working Group, primary Meredith, alternate Kimberly. And then Alex will continue as our representative to foam.
So moved.
Have a second? Yeah, we do. So we have a motion by Sarah Schaefer.
I will
I'll
second.
second.
Oh, go ahead, Kimberly.
Could I ask a quick question? I got lost on the working group. Is that Sarah?
The working group
Or
is
Alex.
both of you, Meredith and you.
Okay, I didn't get any of those right, except for me.
Well, and you'll send these out after, right, Karen?
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You'll know, don't worry. Yeah.
All right, we have a motion by Councilwoman Schaefer and a second by Councilmember White. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anybody have any final comments before we adjourn this meeting?
I'm looking forward to a great year. Thank you, everybody.
Me too. All right, we are adjourned.